Hello, I'm Bill Ferguson. There was a day a while back when I was kind of grumpy, a little discouraged. Life didn't feel like it was working so well. I just wasn't real happy. Then I went to a restaurant and ran into an old friend, and I had this beautiful burst of love. And all of a sudden, everything was wonderful again. Life was great. The circumstances were irrelevant. I was on top of life. I got me back. Life was great. Well, you see, we don't know this, but there are two totally opposite realms in life. There's the realm of who you are, the experience of love, and then there's the realm of circumstances. This is the realm of love, joy, peace, happiness, and miracles. This is the realm of fear, upset, and suffering. They're totally opposite states. This one is referred to as living in the light, living in the darkness, of the spirit, of the world, the oneness, the separateness. Totally opposite realms with totally opposite consequences. We do a weekend workshop called Return to the Heart. And during the weekend, people experience a very profound state of oneness. They experience the very essence of who they are. And while they're in this state, I ask them some questions. I ask them, when you're in that state of oneness, what happens to the circumstances of life? They disappear. They have no relevance. In that state of oneness, what happens to your past? It doesn't exist. All there is now. When you're in that state of oneness, what happens to all the stuff about worthy, worthless, good enough, not good enough, success, failure? It doesn't exist. It has no relevance. And when you're in that state of oneness, the concept of me doesn't even exist. There's us, but there's no me separate from you. None of these things exist in the oneness because none of these things exist in reality. They only exist in our mind by virtue of the power that we give them in our mind. When you're in that state of oneness, when you're operating consistent with who you are, you're not operating out of your head, you're operating out of your heart. But when you're disconnected from who you are, you're not operating out of your heart, you're operating out of your head. There are two totally opposite realms with totally opposite consequences. And everything we're taught over here destroys love and creates more suffering. Everything we're taught over here creates more love. Over here we're taught run from the hurt. Over here we're taught run towards it so you can get rid of it. Over here we're taught if you want something, hang on to it. Over here we're taught if you want something, you got to be willing to let it go. See, everything we're taught in these two realms are totally opposite. Now, over here in the oneness, we're taught that happiness can only come from within. But over here in the realm of circumstances, we're taught that happiness can only come from the circumstances. So this is what we've been taught. We've been taught that happiness can only come from outside of us. We're taught that upsets come from outside of us. This is an illusion that'll keep us stuck forever. But it's what we've been taught and it's what we believe. So if upsets and happiness truly come from my circumstances, doesn't it then make sense that I have to make my circumstances be a certain way? Of course, if I want to be happy, I need to make life be a certain way. So then what I'll do is I'll go through life trying to force people in life to be a certain way. I'll fight, resist, hang on, and withdraw. But what I don't realize is that everything I do to try to make my life be a certain way destroys love, destroys happiness, and creates more suffering. Literally, everything we do in this realm of separateness creates more suffering, destroys love. It just makes life worse and worse and worse. But everything we do over here in this realm of love, in the light, creates more light. So they're totally opposite realms. Both realms is very real, totally opposite consequences. Well, the opportunity of life is to learn to live in the light. Because to the extent you live in the light, your life is going to be incredible. And it's not difficult to do that, but you got to know how, and you got to walk through the steps. And I can show you the steps. I can walk you through it.